During the American Civil War, the railroad industry had gained newfound power following the passage of the Pacific Railroad Act of 1862 by Congress. This law would enable any railroad company to apply for government subsidies to build and operate any transcontinental rail line and to acquire public land to sell back to would-be settlers near their land. The completion of the first Transcontinental Railroad in 1869 sparked the U.S. government's desire for additional rail lines and the westward expansion, with 2 planned lines in the American Southwest. Before the American Civil War, the Department of War under Secretary Jefferson Davis commissioned a survey of the best possible routes for a transcontinental railroad in the American West. The survey, titled Reports of Expedition and Surveys to Ascertain the Most Practical and Economic Route for a Railroad from the Mississippi River to the Pacific Ocean, made under the direction of the Secretary of War in 1853 and 1854. The survey details the best course of action and surveying 4 possible routes that could be built by providing funding for any would-be railroad companies wanting to do the work. And after the survey team returned back to D.C., Davis would deliver the report to Congress in 1855, and one of the surveys was favored by Davis since it would benefit southern states in their effort to expand slavery across the American Southwest. In preparation for this, the U.S. government acquired the Gadsden Purchase from Mexico, allowing it to plan for future lines in the southern territories of Arizona and New Mexico. This purchase was beneficial for using the land for railroad construction as it was less mountainous than the other lines. The reports of expeditions and surveys also provided other details about the American West, including information on indigenous tribes, geology, and zoology. These subjects were essential to the reports because they would show railroad crews what to expect during the construction of each of the 4 lines. The infighting in Congress over the interests of the northern and southern states had led to a standstill in plans to fund the railway companies until the outbreak of the American Civil War. This is also one of the platforms of Abraham Lincoln and the early Republican Party, which ran on building a transcontinental railroad line and passing the Homestead Act, which sought to benefit the voters of the northern and midwestern states. During the first year of the Civil War, Congress passed the Railroad Act of 1862, which funded the construction and founding of the Union Pacific and incentivized the Central Pacific to begin building the transcontinental railroads from the eastern to the western end of the country. By 1866, Congress sought to fund 2 more lines that would cross the American Southwest, consolidating the United States holdings as part of its westward expansion. The geography of the American Southwest is much easier than what the Union Pacific and Central Pacific had to face in their part of the country. In contrast, these 2 companies did not have to face the hot deserts of Arizona and New Mexico, nor they did not get the chance to go around the New Mexico, Rocky Mountains there. But the 2 largest companies that would dominate most of the American Southwest were the Atchison, Topeka, and Santa Fe Railway Company and the Southern Pacific Railroad Company, with their transcontinental railroad lines primarily located in the middle and southern parts of the American Southwest. This video will examine the Atchison, Topeka, and Santa Fe Railway Company from the 1870s to about 1885. The old main line of the Santa Fe is now operated by Amtrak as the Southwest Chief and still experiencing increased summer ridership from the Boy Scouts traveling to Philmont Scout Ranch at the Raton Station. And a significant legacy of the railway is its role in shaping the image of the American Southwest in creating the first chain restaurant concept. The Atchison and Topeka Santa Fe Railway began in 1859 in Atchison, Kansas. Its founder was Cecil K. Holliday, the first mayor of Topeka, and he watched what is now, at the time, Pacific Railway Company was doing, and seeing how the government was paying them to build the needed tracks. And he decided he wanted a similar option, so he won a state charter from the state of Kansas. And after this, Holliday continued working on extending the company's ambition, and after securing the land grants needed, the company spent the next 4 years planning and fundraising, until in the early 1860s, construction began between Atchison and Topeka, stretching out the route, lengthening the time before actual construction began. But finally, again in Topeka, work commenced on a fall day in 1868. The first segment was opened the following year, but the good people of Atchison had to wait several years for the Santa Fe trains. For now, the rail from Topeka were only headed to the west. During those years of fundraising, Holliday became ambitious about the goals of his company, moving the goalposts to a new location, the town of Santa Fe itself. And there are two crucial reasons that Holliday himself wanted to take it that far: the land grants the government has been distributing, and the Santa Fe being the center of commerce in the region, in which he wanted to replace the stagecoach business. The Santa Fe Railway first developed markets along its routes by contracting with farmers to ship goods solely via its network. Farming on the Great Plains was unreliable before the advent of modern irrigation, but this did not deter Santa Fe from recruiting persecuted Mennonites from Russia in the 1870s. They settled near the rail line in Kansas, buying land from the company at $5 per acre in 160-acre lots. About 4 years after the Mennonites settled, which placed us in 1872, the Santa Fe Railway has reached Dodge City in western Kansas, allowing it to tap into the lucrative cattle market from the Texas Cattle Drive. By the time the Santa Fe was venturing across Kansas, the buffalo has largely disappeared, and Dodge City was a cow town, scooping up the cattle to ship them to slaughterhouses in Chicago and St. Louis before the herds roamed further north to be taken by the Kansas Pacific. The company established rail infrastructure and cattle pens in the heart of Dodge City, taking the calculated risks that soon to be successful. By the following year, the Santa Fe had gained control of the cattle market by developing competitional resources and reducing rates to attract Texas cattle drivers. And the company continued to operate in Dodge City despite its reputation as the Sullivan of the West. This historical notoriety later contributes to Dodge City's recurring presence in American pop culture, including films, television, music, and ongoing tourism focus on its heritage. The company wanted to be the white hats, or the good guys of the railway industry. It sought to avoid government corruption scandals that was common at the time, and they had a vision that was more than just a regional carrier. They wanted to reach the Pacific Ocean, and Dodge City is the place where it's going to demonstrate its commitment by prioritizing law and order during a tumultuous period. Appalled by all the mayhem, the Santa Fe Railroad threatened to shut down the cattle business if the cowboys do not mend their ways. But the cowboys kept drinking and brawling and shooting off their guns just as before. The Santa Fe officers asked that the saloons please, at least, observe this Sabbath, to no avail. The cowboys shot out the headlights of the incoming locomotives and fired off pot shots at the train crews. During the lawlessness in Dodge City, the Santa Fe Railway pressed for better law enforcement from the local marshals, and they allowed him to bring in additional help, which he brought in Wyatt Earp and Bat and Ed Masterson to help reduce crime. With the improving order in Dodge City, Santa Fe's leadership demonstrated its ambition by hiring William Barstow Strong from the Chicago, Burlington, and Quincy Railway Company as general manager to drive its westward expansion. To reach California while avoiding the Colorado Rockies, the Santa Fe needs a southern route through New Mexico, making Raton Pass, the key segment of the old Santa Fe Trail, vital. Control of the Raton Pass meant domination in the crucial corridor to the American Southwest, triggering a competitional race with another newcomer, the Denver and Rio Grande Railway Company.